if it opens the seed coat, it makes it now vulnerable to fungal infection. And when the fungus comes in, especially some species like aspergillus fungus, it now, there's a secondary metabolite produced by fungus, a certain species. That is what we call aflatoxin, which causes cancer and poses serious food security and food safety problems in Kenya. And in fact, to be honest with you, that loss, the 60% or more, is why we import. And if we can block it, then we will not even need to import.
We don't need to import.
And cancer is caused by aflatoxin, and people know that. Even yourself, you know that. And that is even the reason why millers import their maize. Why would they import maize when there's one next door? You think they're businessmen who don't think? There's a reason for that. There's quality of the seed. They wouldn't want to mill down into unga something that's going to harm people. So they import cleaner maize. And of course, this is why the government, as you have seen, that's putting in systems of drying. Because when you harvest, for example, maize with high moisture content, then you're breeding aflatoxin. You're breeding the fungus that causes aflatoxin. So our intention should be well understood. And this is why there's a regulation, there are safety measures, there are tests that are conducted. And for your information, if you are developing any GM product, it is tested from the laboratory all the way to the market. Laboratory level, cellular level tests, confined field trial tests, national performance trial tests. First, you're testing whether it is safe. Second, you're testing whether the gene you are putting in truly protects the maize from the insect. Because you can make claims that are not just meaningless. So if it is found to be truly protecting the maize from the borer, then now we go to safety tests. By the time you see any product approved for market, you should be sure that this thing has been proven to be safe. And all this process is done alongside regulators in Kenya. There's NEMA, there's NBA, there's all these things, including the civil society. Because we are looking at consumer rights, we're looking at public participation and all this kind of thing. Yes.
Dr. Cheng, when the uproar that you hear from society, and unfortunately, a lot of times it's due to misunderstanding, misinformation, whatever the case may be. And so here we are, and every time we hear about GMO, the first thing is that food is being manufactured to essentially, it's the very makeup of a plant or grain or other kinds of food is being tinkered with so that it either grows faster or rather that develops faster and that you can have more of it in a shorter period of time. That's the thought in people's mind. And that then because of that, you cannot control what is in it later because you're introducing something that could pose some kind of danger. So let's maybe give us an insight into what really happens here. We've heard it many times before, but it's very necessary for us to hear it every time because then it fuels our conversations.
Thank you very much. Now I will talk about a specific case so that it's easier to understand than general GMO.
Okay.
Now I want to talk about BT maize and what do we do to develop what we call BT maize in very brief sense. Now we have a bacterium in the soil that we take in our salads inadvertently, that we take in our food systems every day. It's called Bacillus thuringiensis. It's a harmless soil bacterium, harmless to humans and harmless to the environment. That bacterium has been used for more than 38 years as a formulation for making pesticide because it has several proteins, what I would call insecticidal proteins, that can kill specific insects types.
I thought you said it's almost harmless to everyone.
No, harmless to humans and the environment.
Harmless to the environment.
The bacterium itself.
Okay.
Now, what happens is that this bacterium has insecticidal proteins that are only harmless when in singular. But when it is in the organism, there's no problem.
Okay.
Now, this is the protein that we isolate for a specific target organism. And we take a gene, just a single gene from that protein, a single gene from that organism, the one I'm calling the protein, and incorporate it into the genome of maize. Now, the reason why it doesn't affect us first, because before you even go further, the first issue, will it affect us? we have a drug called malaria queen that we take. We take it, and it targets Plasmodium falciparum, the organism that causes malaria in humans, which is in your blood system. But in your body, there are many other microorganisms and yourself. But fortunately, malaria queen cannot kill you or these other organisms because it is target specific.
Okay.
That same technology that is target specific, that doesn't kill you, that doesn't kill Escherichia coli in your tummy, that doesn't kill any other microorganism in your system, is the same one we use. So that this protein will target the stem borer only. Not even the bee will be affected. So it will produce a protein that is specific to kill the stem borer only. Bees will not die, no other organism will die. Not even the maize. Not even you feed the maize or your livestock.
Okay.
That's what we do. And when we incorporate it in the maize, we test for safety. Once that's proven, we test the agronomic properties of that maize. Does it reduce the nutrients? Does it introduce new nutrients? Does it introduce new proteins that were not there? We test all these things. When you talk about biosafety regulations, it's about testing, including toxicology tests. It is something that is foolproof.
Okay, but that's right.
Yes.
We target, so this protein then is introduced into the stem borer.
No, into
the maize.
Into the maize.
Genome.
Okay.
Into the seed.
The DNA
Into
of
the
maize.
seed of the...
Yes. Not seed, no. Into the genome of maize.
Okay, so that's the makeup of the maize itself.
Yes.
Okay.
The foundation.
And now the question is, why? If you had alluded to that before, because essentially what you're saying is that you're trying to protect this maize from pests,
from stem borer.
The stem
specific
borer.
pest, yeah.
That specific pest.
Yes.
Which does what? What does that pest do?
That pest invades the maize and eats it up.
Okay.
And the maize dries and falls.
Okay. And is that what is happening with maize around the country,
Yes.
if not for this modified intervention? So what we are saying then with genetically modified maize, for example, if we stick on maize, is that you're not changing the makeup of the maize. What you're doing is introducing something into it so that it then does not spoil and dry off.
But that is changing.
No.
So that you're actually changing it.
The history is this. The ancestor of modern day maize is called teosinte.
Okay.
In Mexico. Now, teosinte had that protection earlier.
Okay.
But due to long-term domestication and selection for other traits, the maize lost this
natural ability.
Yes, that natural ability to protect itself.
Okay.
So we are actually reintroducing.
Okay. What was there before?
It was there before.
Okay.
But it got lost during, when you do long-term selection for other specific traits, sometimes you lose what other things are.
Yeah.
So it lost that, and we are introducing it.
Okay. Now,
Yes.
the fear then for a lot of people, everybody who speaks out against this, the fear here is that you reintroduce something unnaturally, and then what would be the repercussions later? Could it then mutate into something else?
No. Okay. Actually, what we're doing, we are introducing something that cannot mutate. It has no ability.
Okay.
It is a gene promoter.
Okay.
So it has no ability to mutate into anything.
Okay.
In fact, mutations are natural,
Yes.
and they occur randomly at any DNA, even without us, even without introducing anything. Normal mutations occur. You have planted white maize before, and when you go to the farm to harvest, you see indigo or yellow and other things.
Yes.
That's natural.
Okay.
And it doesn't occur because of GMO. Now, the other thing is that when you introduce this thing, you select out. There's something we call selective markers. Whatever you use introducing it is removed, so that you remain with only a protein that will only act for that specific purpose.
On the borer alone.
On the borer alone.
Okay.
Just like malaria queen.
Right.
People who have been taking malaria queen, do they die later?
No, the malaria goes away.
They wouldn't die later.
What
Because
happens is the mosquito gets used to malaria queen,
Yeah,
and
then
after
they
a
have
while
to-
you need some
another
other
kind
drug.
of medication.
the plasmodium, not a mosquito.
Yes.
Mosquito is a carrier. But so now, what happens is this?
And the plasmodium lives where?
The plasmodium is in your system. It comes into your blood system. It's carried by the mosquito into your body through a life cycle.
So the mosquito is involved, isn't it?
As a carrier only.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wacha kuargue, see.
No. This one.
Wacha na imeenda.
No.
It's a plasmodium that lands this killer.
Let him understand. Yeah.
I want to connect this. You see, when you say they are natural occurrences, and he has stated very clearly that whatever the GMO does not interfere with these processes.
Yeah.
What they're doing is targeting something very, very specific.
Yes.
For example, introducing a protective mechanism that naturally existed in that particular grain, but which has been lost over time.
Yes.
Okay? Now, why mutation is important to me is because it says it's a natural occurrence.
Sure.
All right? Now, when he gives the example of plasmodium and mosquito, what comes to mind is we start with malaria queen, then we move into many other drugs that have different bases. So the question is, why? If that was working all along, is it us who have adapted to that particular, or is it the disease-carrying plasmodium that has... That is really what... Now, if I connect that with what they are doing with the maize, then I'm saying...
With time, the Bora...
Thank you.
You've
understood exactly where I'm going with
So
this.
what you're saying in that context is right, that after some time,
Yes.
the stem borer will outsmart
Yes.
this protein that is produced.
Yes.
This is normal.
Yes.
And even just as you're saying, we have many drugs. Each time we bring new ones. Because, for example, the sprays, insects get used to some sprays. So what happens that after some time, we will just tack another gene. It's a continuous process. That once the stem borer has
discovers what we've done.
through selection.
So essentially, you're assisting nature.
What we're doing, we're not resisting nature. We are working with nature. So that as we get challenges, we surmount them as time goes.
So you're saying that nature is not quite capable of doing this on its own?
Well,
It
that
can
will
do.
take time.
It can do, but we can't chance.
We don't know
Because
when it will.
We don't want people to keep dying as we wait for nature to solve it.
Every long road
As a band.
has a
Corners.
bend. 8:30, let's take a break. Kenya's biggest conversation is hosting Dr. Joel Ochieng. He is the program leader, agricultural biotechnology at the University of Nairobi, and also the Secretary General of the Kenya University Biotechnology Consortium. He's here this morning. We're talking about GMO. One case in court. Justice Angote said yesterday, no. We have many regulations and institutions that have been set up that can regulate the growing of GMO crops in this country. Hiyo maneno tuache kwanza, but there's still another case in court. But we're seeking to understand what exactly is the issue here with GMO. We'll be back shortly after this break.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.
It's critical that people pay taxes. But then taxation has to have a limit. When you start overtaxing people beyond certain limit, then this is now we call robbery with violence.
We are all struggling, but we don't show. If you're not doing well, shame on you. But you have to say, I'm broke and I'm struggling. We are not okay until everybody is
okay.
We are pretending to have political parties. Why don't we just be honest? And we say, these are the Luyas, these are the Kambas, these are the Kikuyus, and we find ourselves in Kenya.
You know, with politics and leadership, no matter what you do, there will always be a complaint. There will always be the assumption that you're either stealing or you're not doing things right. As a leader, don't fear. If you know you're doing the right thing, you've thought about it, you've got an expert advice, do it, then understand later.
This country, we don't need prayers. Prayers is between you and God. Good governance and thinkers who care about the country and not their stomach.
That's what we need.
The Situation Room, Kenya's biggest conversation.
Sunny morning in Nairobi, 17 degrees, highs of 28, and it's sunny at 18 in Nakuru, highs of 27. Sunny at 19 in Nyeri with highs of 26, and Eldoret is sunny at 16 with highs of 26. 27 and sunny conditions through Mombasa with highs of 31, and at 28 Malindi, sunny, highs of 31. 24 and sunny in Kisumu with highs of 30, and 29 will be the high in a sunny Kakamega. It's 20 and partly sunny through Kampala with highs of 28, and we'll see highs of 30 in a mostly cloudy Dar es Salaam at 27. Sunny conditions at 16 in Johannesburg with highs of 26, and at 24 Lagos is cloudy with highs of 31. After the rains in Kinshasa, it's mostly cloudy at 25, highs of 31 and lows of 23.
spice up your life.
Seems to check out every Friday morning. Not much happening in terms of traffic. We'll see a little bit here and there on the Thika Superhighway, but that's just at that survey. Even at the Pangani underpass is not too bad right about now, and it's reducing significantly on Kiambu Road. In from Limuru Road, Muthaiga, United Nations Avenue, going into Peponi and Spring Valley, there's a little bit of movement, but all manageable, at least for now. Coming in from Naivasha Road, that's then a little bit heavy as you touch on Gong Road a little bit and getting into Lavington via Gitanga Road, so we'll keep an eye on that. Other than that, I think you should be fine getting in and out of the CBD without too much of a scratch. Let's talk on Spice FM KE on X and keep things moving this morning.
Spice FM, Nakuru. Mature, intelligent talk every morning. Spice up yourself. Mornings done right. 94.4 Spice FM, Nairobi.
Ochieng, Secretary General of the Kenya University's Biotechnology Consortium. CT, continue.
Yes, you know the problem with matters relating to human beings, their livelihood and the safety of it thereof, is always that any information that appears to be adverse is more likely to be consumed much faster than any that is actually positive. And if the nefarious information precedes the more positive one, then instead of just introducing what you may consider to be the correct information, you are fighting what already exists. Now, unfortunately, GMO received bad press from the time in the early 70s, early and some late 60s, when we got yellow maize from the US. We had a drought situation. I know because I ate some of that yellow maize. Quite tasty though. It was only later that we were to be informed that that maize is actually produced for feeding cows. I had a bit of a problem with that. But you see, it's misplaced because as far as we're concerned, maize flour was meant to be white. So when it is yellow, it opens the door for every conspiracy theory known to mankind. Now, among the things that were said then was that this particular maize with the GMO was intended to sterilize people. I have 2 children, so
that didn't work. Okay.
And now, how beyond the scientific explanations does one get to communicate what you know and the rest of us probably don't know about the safety and the benefits of GMO?
Yeah, thank you very much. Now, the first thing is that the GMO, as a general term, there are so many types. And there is one that is meant for America and other countries where we have thousands of hectares. That is the Roundup tolerant maize, because weeding manually is impossible in thousands of hectares. They use a plane to spray through. Now, in Kenya, we have smallholders. Our biggest problem is mainly, for example, the crop pests and other agronomic problems rather than the weed. We can weed manually. So that's why we have BT maize here. And this has been made in Kenya, not in America. Now, those theories have developed over time, and you are very right, Mr. Muga, that this thing received very bad press and very bad activism earlier on. And because this was the first information people had, it's very difficult, and we are getting it very difficult to turn around the thinking around it. We are trying our best, but we are getting it because people already have it. And as you said, when something concerns human life and safety, the bad news travels faster, and the bad news become more believable, and serious caution is taken. And I say, even though I'm told if I go through the river, I might be fine, and somebody who doesn't look credible is saying it's very dangerous, I would rather follow the person who is not even credible, but I remain safe. So this is the problem, that somebody can come and say a simple nonsense. And this nonsense, I'm not talking about people who have safety fears. I'm talking about deliberate nonsense. But because it concerns safety, that nonsense flies more. Now, he's given evidence that he has 2 children. I hope only 2 by choice, even though he has been taking, he took GMAs.
Yes.
And by the way,
be happy with the numbers I've given you. Content with those ones.
Yeah, so now yellow maize, for example, yellow maize is a variety. It's a variety, a subspecies, a variety of maize. It's mostly called corn, and most of it is GM. Not all. We have corn in Kenya that is yellow maize, which is not GMO. It's just a variety of maize. It's not necessarily GMO, and I think it's aware of that we have yellow maize grown in Kenya. Not corn. Corn is a variety of maize, mostly GMO, but yellow maize itself is grown here, but it's ordinary maize. Now, we have a hybrid maize as well.
Yep.
That was developed to surmount certain challenges, especially rainfall and other challenges, and even productivity. Now, what happens is that over time, we bring new hybrids.
Yes.
Because the older ones succumb to those same problems. And that's what he was talking about earlier, that even for the stem borer, over time, we may have to bring new ones as the challenges emerge.
As they emerge.
Yes, so that's very true, that it's a continuous process. Even drugs, when you have drug resistance by the same microorganism that you're targeting or the same pathogen you're targeting, then you have to develop new drugs.
Yeah.
This is the way it will go. So we are not talking about a one-off solution.
It's a continuous process.
It's a continuous process. And one thing I would urge Kenyans is to trust our system. Because the truth is, this is not a technology that we are dreaming about from today. It has been tested. It has been used elsewhere.
It's already been developed.
It has already been developed. It has been tested. It has been consumed
elsewhere
for a long time, even in Kenya.
Has it been tested in Kenya?
Yes. Actually, this maize should have gone to the farm 2 years ago, had it not been for some other regulatory problems with NEMA and then court case. It has been tested across the country.
Okay.
And, we have 2 kind of tests in the farm. There is confined field trial, which we did in Makueni at Kiboko. It's confined, it's shielded out from the public.
Yeah.
And the product is banned after that. Because some things are going to be proven there, you can't use it. It's not because of safety, it's a regulatory requirement that the products of confined field trial is banned. And that's what happened.
So with through
then,
sorry, please go ahead.
Then you have the national performance trial. That happens once it's now approved. You test in different agroecological regions. Does it behave the same? But that product is consumed. Farmers have consumed it for 2 years.
I've stopped by Kiboko and I've bought maize. Mahindi ya kuchoma hapo kwa barabara.
Kuna kashamba pale kubwa sana ambayo
shamba ya Kalro hapo.
Yes.
Near Hunter's Lodge.
Yes.
And the guys were always selling.
They always
no
have
matter
maize,
the
drought,
season.
rain.
Yes, and that maize is always green.
And very big.
Bas.
And the rest of the area around there is so dry, you'll be shocked.
Well, it's not necessarily GMO. They test so many other things there.
Okay.
Maybe include, but that one, if it is from a confined field trial, it was banned.
Yeah, okay.
You could not have bought it.
Okay.
But if it's a product from the national performance trial, then you bought it.
Then you're likely to have.
Yes.
The other concern that, in fact, even the Law Society of Kenya took to court in this particular case was the issue of indigenous crops. When you introduce now these genetically modified crops, do they phase out what's the future of the indigenous crops or indigenous seeds?
Okay, thank you. Now, what happens with the hybrid seed? GMO is more like hybrid seed in the making.
Yeah.
Talking about in relation to what it does to the land races. Land races, the indigenous. Although maize is not indigenous to Kenya, but for the purpose of illustration.
Okay.
Now, what happens that if, for example, there's some crossbreeding or pollen flowing from a GM field, an intentional flow of pollen from a GM field into the land races or the indigenous crops, it will form a hybrid on that crop. Remember, maize is a non-overlapping generation kind of crop. You harvest everything and plant new one.
Yes.
So, if you replant your crop, there is something we call hybrid breakdown. My training is in genetics, so I'm safe home. Hybrid breakdown will ensure that that property of insect protection is halved in that generation.
Okay.
Then in the next one, it's not there anymore. And this brings one issue. you will have to go back to the agrovet if you need the insect protection.
So those two will so half of the genetics of the hybrid
of the
and
insect
half
protection.
of the
Yes.
half of the hybrid and half of the indigenous will come together.
Yes.
By the time we're getting to third generation,
Second generation is gone.
both are gone.
Yes, and that's why
The
even
indigenous is gone, the hybrid is gone.
even for the hybrid seed,
Right.
if you replant your own crop, you'll get very low harvest, and you'll get albino maize. You've seen that the ones that are whitish at very young age, they're whitish, and then they will dry off
Yes.
because of hybrid breakdown. So this means there should be no fear of cross pollination. It will not affect the next crop.
That's the fear that the people have.
But they do not ask people who understand these things. And that's the problem. Because the Law Society of Kenya goes to court. We have appeared before them and given facts. But then, when people are already made up their mind, they wouldn't listen to facts.
So are you saying essentially, I mean,
Yeah.
bare facts on the table, that indigenous crops, because this is what we're saying essentially, that you will then have a disappearance over time of indigenous crops. You're saying that if you plant in the next harvest anyway, you start to diminish your indigenous crops anyway.
No.
Is that what you're saying?
What I'm saying is this. You have your indigenous crop in plot A.
Yes.
Then you have me planting GM maize in plot B.
Right.
Then pollen has flown. A few cases of pollen has flown from my crop to your crop.
To B to A, yes.
Now, what I'm saying that the specific tree of maize,
Yeah.
the particular plant of maize,
Yes.
which has received pollen from my farm,
Yes.
will be fine, because if you plant it in the next generation, it will become no more landrace maize.
Okay.
The gene that has flown from my side, the gene that is insect protecting it, will go.
Okay.
That's what I mean.
Okay.
So you'll go back to your indigenous.
You'll go back
So
to
the
your
indigenous remains.
The
Indigenous remains.
What I'm saying is that the hybrid breakdown, the thing that makes it a hybrid is gone.
Okay.
So it's
Okay.
no more maize.
So it's for that crop,
Yes.
essentially.
Yes.
And once you harvest that crop, essentially what you're saying is that if you want to then go to hybrid, you need to reintroduce again.
Yes,
It's
you
not
need
going to
buy certified
continue.
seed again.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now where would this information come from? Essentially that this you've created, and that's the thing. Information... because if we are left with a vacuum, we're going to fill it with our own information. Because we know when we eat GMO foods, we will grow a third nose on the back of your neck, kind of thing.
A third nose.
What do you mean? You'll grow.
Funny how many
Grow
do you have?
horns
So
and other
by the
things.
time you've eaten the first one, you've already grown the second one, and then now it's the third
you'll grow
one,
hair on your forehead.
or such things. People already have that naturally, but okay. The thing is that without the information is extremely important. So then where does this come from? Where the assumption is that, once you introduce this hybrid crop, that it is essentially going to become a master crop that then removes everything in its wake. But what you're saying now is that for that crop that you have introduced, it doesn't move to the next crop.
Yes.
Once you harvest, it's done. And if you want to have that again, this insect protected and etc.,
You go to
you
the
must
agrovet.
do it again.
You go to the agrovet
You go to the agrovet.
to buy certified maize.
I get
Now,
you.
the other thing is this, because I think this misconception is large.
Very.
Yeah. What happens is this, because what people say is that our land races will be gone and all that.
Yes.
Remember, we are introducing this gene in a normal maize that has been planted by farmers. It's not a new maize. This maize is with the farmers.
Yes.
For example, drought tego. We are introducing this gene into that background of drought tego, which is maize already with the farmers.
Okay.
So it's an added property to that maize.
There's something I've heard, and this is, I'm glad you're here because you can demystify this for me.
Yes.
One of the things that is said about GMO, and it is said in the context that what you call traditional seeds, that when you plant it for one season, you cannot keep the seed to be planted for the next. And they argue that with traditional seeds, all you need to do is just keep some seed aside for the next season and the next and the next and the next.
Yes, what happens is this. You're very right in some context. Because what happens with the hybrid seed, even the normal hybrid seed from Calro, if you replant it, your harvest will go down by 40%. Hybrid, if you plant hybrid seed from the agrovet, and then you harvest that and plant yours, the harvest will go down by more than 40% because there is hybrid breakdown. So you'll have to go back to the aggregate. You're aware of that, I hope?
No. Actually, I'm not. This is what's puzzling me. So hybrid gives me high productivity.
Yes.
So what do I do? Every time I want to plant, I've got to go back to the aggregate to get the same hybrid.
Sure.
But
if you want the same level of harvest.
All right, that one I've got now. What about the traditional? Is it true then that I could actually replant that one?
The traditional,
yes.
It's true that you can actually replant that one and continue getting the low harvest.
Oh.
So what do you want? High harvest, low harvest? So it's up to you.
This is not to say that the traditional ones are bad. The issue is this. The manner in which you harvest and store your seeds, the manner in which you protect your seeds, the manner in which you select for seed quality is the issue.
And that
because you can actually hire, for example, Calro to do seed bulking for you from your own crop. Because the trick lies in how you harvest, how you store, how you prepare seeds. Seed quality.
So you're actually saying that this traditional seed can actually be enabled to produce higher yield?
Of course, people have hired scientists to do bulking for them from their own traditional seeds.
And it has worked?
It works, yes.
What's bulking?
Bulking means preparing seeds in a way that it retains the quality, so that there is higher germination, there is higher fecundity and other things that come with seed.
So if we can do this, then what do you need GMO for?
You need GMO because your normal seed will be affected by the stem borer and you'll lose the crop.
Because this one is dealing with now those harmful sides of that.
Yeah.
The thing, though, about hybrid and GMO is you're making a farmer completely dependent on the seed company. How do you respond to that? Because it means every time you want to plant a new crop, you must go and buy new seed.
For GMO, and as a scientist, I don't lie, for GMO is true, you have to buy from the aggregate. Unless you want to replant it and you'll get lower harvest and you'll get lower insect protection, and in the third generation it's gone, it's no more seed now, that's okay. But if you want higher productivity and higher insect protection, then you have to go back to the aggregate.
Okay.
I don't know whether that is called a big dependent seed company, because even today as we talk, farmers are buying seeds from the seed companies without GMO. And as you remember, even the government tried to subsidize fertilizer. This is not about dependency. This is about jump-starting a system that has failed.
From a scientist's point of view, you're right. But from a business point of view, we see and read dependency. I see nothing else.
These people become dependent on this product and they have no choice but to keep buying it.
So you cannot say you don't benefit from it, but you don't have much of a choice if that's what you want. And the question is, who doesn't want high yield?
That's the question. Who doesn't want a high yield?
Sure, but now
so those who want a high yield will come to the aggregate and buy.
That's Terry. The question here now, though, really is that which came first, though? Was there a need to commercialize something that would make people eternally dependent on this product, or was there a need to say, you know what we want to do is avoid crop failure, we want to avoid infestation of crop by pests and insects and things like that, and we want to guarantee that you have a high yield? Which came first? Because then, or was it a serendipity? There was a good mistake that was made when somebody said, if I take this and put it here, I can get a better crop. And then somebody said, wow, I can commercialize it. And the only way for you to guarantee this kind of crop is if you tinker with the makeup of this seed, because that's exactly what it is. And then you realize, oh, by golly, I can make money from this thing, and I can make these populations dependent on this seed. Without this seed like this, they will not get this high yield of crop.
They want to eat.
They must plant it.
And would you mind going about how did the issue of making hybrid seeds come in? Not GMO, normal hybrid seeds.
Same.
It's the same thing.
Same thinking.
And this is done by the government, Calro's government. Because you have a problem you have to solve.
So this is my question.
Yes.
What was being solved? The pockets that needed to be filled? From a government point of view, creating food for a population that needed to eat. looking at Kauro, for example, because we've been there, we've seen the kind of work that they do. Looking at Kauro sits and says, you know what, our yields, can we think of something that's going to guarantee that from January to December, the people of Kenya have food? Or was it actually, you know what, let me make these people highly dependent on this thing so that they keep buying from government? And I would go with the former.
So,
I would go with the former for government.
What came first is that there was a problem. Remember, scientists don't work in vacuum. We are there to solve a problem already in society. And the problem was productivity, low productivity.
And the growing population.
This informed it. Of course, we cannot block somebody else who wants to
Fill their
tap
pockets.
into the value chain.
Yeah.
Because I've already made, for example, BT maize. No, BT maize is a bad example because it will be controlled in a different way. Let's say hybrid seed, for example. I've already made hybrid seed, and you are an agrovet, you want to tap into the value chain. We can't block you because you're a business person.
But Daktari, should we then not simplify it and ask, can we actually divorce what one may refer to as a common good from the pursuit of profit? Is it possible to...
Can that be controlled?
Yes. Now, for the purpose of BT maize in Kenya, it will be sold through the same government system, Kenya Seed. It's not open to what you are fearing and calling multinational.
Okay.
Multinationals also have their own GMO.
So multinationals will sell to Kenya Seed.
They have their own GMO. But we are talking about the one that has been made here. And for your information, which is important, it has been made through public-private partnership, PPP.
So Kenyan developed BT maize is the only one that will be allowed to be sold in Kenya.
I wouldn't talk for the government and say the only one to be allowed. What I'm saying is that purposefully, this one has been developed through a public-private partnership for the use in Kenya.
Okay.
Whether the government can allow another, I wouldn't really comment.
What does the regulation say?
Because I wouldn't stop the regulator from doing that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Somebody's asking, what are the side effects of GMO? What are the downsides? Because you've talked about the positives. What are the negatives of GMO to human health, to the agriculture system, to the value chain, and even to the industry?
Okay. Now, let me talk about the BT maize. It's safe to talk about something you've been involved in from beginning to end.
Okay.
The only thing I can talk about in terms of BT maize side effect or value chain effect is that to get productivity, you'll have to go back to the agrovet.
Okay.
If you replant yours, that gene decays and you end up with a normal maize.
Which will be prone to the borer.
Will still be prone to the borer.
Okay.
So you'll have to go back to the agrovet. In terms of safety, there is nowhere on earth that anybody has questioned the safety of BT maize. The only one that has been discussed extensively is on Roundup tolerant maize, the one that is Roundup tolerant, which is not in Kenya. It's mainly in the US and other areas where people plant in hectares, thousands of hectares. For BT maize, there is no single person anywhere on earth who has questioned the safety.
The environment?
Safety to the environment or the person, or livestock, humans, and the environment. There's none. Because BT is in the environment already.
Okay.
Not the virus, but the bacterium, Bacillus thuringiensis, is already in the environment. That's where you got it from.
Okay.
Yes.
So with this decision of the court yesterday, what does it mean?
It now means, but of course, legally we have to interpret it. It means we are given okay, but there's another case.
To do what?
But there's another case in court.
But currently, as it stands, if those barring any other case,
for this particular case,
it means that we can now.
The court is saying go ahead.
Grow BT maize. Commercially in Kenya.
Yes. But as you know very well, if a case is ruled in one court and there's a similar case in another court, you have to wait for the other one. It just means that this one is now done, unless the two are consolidated.
Okay.
So as it stands, as we talked to this morning, we are waiting for the outcome of the other one. That's what it would mean.
This particular one deals with Ebola. Is there research going on to deal with other things?
Yeah, of course we have. Yes. We have so many other products in the pipeline. There's even one that is already at national performance trial. That is cassava. It deals with the cassava mosaic virus and cyanide. The level of cyanide. That reduces the poison in cassava. So there are many other products that are in the pipeline. We have peanut. We have knocked down the 3 proteins that cause allergy in peanut. That is within the seed storage proteins that are causing allergy to people who take peanut. We have knocked out that.
So we'll have some GMO peanuts that you don't have to ask people, are you allergic?
Very soon. And then we have sweet potato. They suffer from several fungal and viral infections. So there are many other things in the pipeline coming up.
No, interesting discussion when it's coming to an end.
Buena,
First of all, this one of peanuts.
Yeah.
Yes.
Dr. Joel Ochieng is the program leader at the Agricultural Biotechnologies at the University of Nairobi and the Secretary General of the Kenya University's Biotechnology Consortium. He's been our guest this morning. Thank you very much for educating us.
Thank you.
Keep it here for more. 9 a.m.
Spice up your life.
Good morning, this is Newswire. I'm Dennis Aseto. The government is putting in place a solid institutional framework that will protect and promote the country's rich and diverse traditions. President William Ruto says cultural assets will be instrumental in enhancing cohesion and stimulating economic growth. He noted that focusing on culture will propel cultural industries, creative economy and tourism and expand opportunities for the youth. Interior CS Kithure Kindiki has defended plans to send police officers to Haiti. Appearing before the National Security Committee, the CS said Kenyan police have been sent to peace operations abroad several times. This as the Orange Democratic Movement Party has urged the government to reconsider the planned deployment of Kenyan police to lead the multinational security support mission in Haiti. The party in a statement said the deployment has no strategic geopolitical value to Kenya, making the move ill-advised. Additionally, ODM claimed Kenya's National Police Service lacks a constitutional mandate to conduct operations outside the country. Authorities have opened an inquest into the death of a detective attached to the Directorate of Criminal Investigations suspected to have taken his own life at the agency's Mazingira House headquarters. A police report indicates that the deceased was discovered by a car wash attendant who noticed someone with a blood-stained shirt inside a motor vehicle within DCI headquarters car wash facility. The scene was visited by senior officers at the complex led by Director Mohammed Amin, homicide and ballistic experts, as well as Chief Government Pathologist Johansen Odur and government chemist personnel visited the scene. Tension is high in Loruk area of Baringo North after one person was shot dead during a cattle raid. The deceased, who was herding livestock, was ambushed by bandits and kidnapped before his body was later found in the bush with gunshot wounds on the left side of the chest. Following the incident, many businesses in Loruk Center remained closed as locals expressed fear for their lives. The killing comes after two people who were shot dead by suspected bandits were 2 weeks ago at Ngaratuko area in the same sub-county were buried. High Court Judge Nixon Sifuna has directed that an application filed by a care official whose account of frozen be heard next week on Wednesday. The matter came up for mention when the officer Daniel Ombua, through his lawyer Dunstan Omari, told the court that he is unable to pay dowry and would like his application heard urgently. In the application, Ombua wants the court to release 21 million shillings held in 3 bank accounts that was frozen after the High Court granted orders to the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission. The junior carer accountant claimed the money was intended for his fiancee's dowry and that even his friends and family had contributed to it. Terming the inclusion of the African Union in the G20 a masterstroke, United Nations General Assembly President Dennis Francis hailed India as a voice of the Global South. In September earlier this year, the African Union was made full member of the G20 under India's presidency. The UNGA president called the African Union inclusion in G20 a stellar achievement made by Prime Minister Modi and his government. Newly crowned world marathon record holder Kelvin Kiptum is among 11 men nominated for the Male Athlete of the Year award. Kiptum smashed the men's marathon world record at the Chicago Marathon Sunday, where he clocked 2 hours 0.35 seconds, erasing 34 seconds off the previous mark held by Eliud Kipchoge. The 23-year-old also won the London Marathon in April in a new course record of 2 hours 1 minute and 25 seconds. Kiptum is the only Kenyan to make the shortlist and will face stiff competition from some of the finest track and field stars who shone in the 2023, including Paul Volta, Mondo Duplantis of Sweden, and Noah Lyles of USA. And Hit Squad head coach Benjamin Musa said they will use the upcoming National Boxing League in Vihiga to identify pugilists who can punch tickets for the Paris 2024 Olympics. The gaffer asked the current crop of national team boxers to polish their act, warning them that they are likely to lose their slots if they do not meet expectations. Musa said they will use the tournament in Vihiga to identify fresh talent that can boost our Olympic qualification chances. This is News. I'm Dennis Aseto. Good morning.
.4 Spice FM, Nairobi.
All right, after 9 o'clock, traffic hasn't done too badly this morning. A little bit of it left on the thicker superhighway this morning as you're coming into the CBD. And what was happening in Westlands, that seems to have reduced significantly as well. Coming through towards Waiyaki Way and then into the CBD. What's this? This is Uhuru Highway, so you'll see some movement there as you go then towards the CBD. Apart from that, I think we're doing pretty good. Jogoo Road, just a little bit of traffic as you're getting then towards Landis. Landis is what is chock-a-blocked as you're getting towards the Kamkunji roundabout. Magadi Road also bumper to bumper as you get to that Langata Road junction. But apart from that, I think we've done pretty well for a Friday morning. But let's wait and see what happens in the next half hour. Spice FM KE on X. Let's talk there as we keep things moving this morning.
This is The Situation Room, the home of hard-hitting political commentary and penetrating insights about the state of the nation. This is a talk radio experience like no other. The Situation Room, a place for hard truths, debates, and elevated conversations. The Situation Room, witty, political, engaging, deep, controversial. In the room, we have C.T. Muga, researcher, academic, seasoned political observer, a fountain of wisdom in these politically uncertain times. Ndu Okoh, Nigerian by birth, Kenyan by choice, communications expert, Pan-Africanist, a truth seeker and believer in people power, and Eric Latiff, agent provocateur, the man in the chair, seasoned journalist, news hound, a man who believes in punching up, not down. This is the Situation Room.
After 9, welcome to the final hour of the Situation Room this Friday morning. No, not. Yeah, it is.
It's Friday morning.
It's Friday morning. It's Friday the 13th.
Yeah.
Just like that. Every remind us, how do we get to watch Maisha Magic Plus?
You switch on your TV.
Okay.
Before that, you look for DSTV and then you make sure that then now you subscribe, obviously, right? And then when you get there, all this wonderful programming then is available for you to watch. But then if you want to watch the specific ones that are being launched this month, which I think is an absolute great idea, you then get on to channel 163 on DSTV, or you go to channel 3 on GoTV, where you can watch fantastic programs. And October is here. Fungulia Magic. It's bringing magic to your living rooms with 2 amazing shows, Kasiri and Zari. Kasiri premiered on the 9th of October. Zari premieres on the 23rd. It's drama, and some more drama. You want to watch it. You want to buckle down and watch these exciting local dramas that are premiering and have premiered.
Very good.
I remind you the channel.
Yes.
DSTV, channel 163. GoTV, channel 3.
Okay.
Sawa.
And what's that USSD code?
*423#. And if you do that, you can then download the My DSTV or the My Go TV app to get or stay connected. And then you remember there are these things called TNCs.
Yes.
They apply.
Okay. Sawa. Our final Health Friday conversation today is about Kuona Mbali. Kuona Mengi. World Sight Day, eliminating avoidable blindness. We are joined by Okoh Victor, who's the president of the Optometrists Association of Kenya. He's here with us in the studio. Good morning, Okoh.
Good morning, how are you?
Welcome to Kenya's biggest conversation.
Good. Thank
That's the hot seat of the situation, bro. How does it feel?
Nice. It's so good. Yeah.
Kabisa. Karibu sana.
Good.
City has the day's proverb.
I do. Proverbs for the whole of this week have been from the the United Republic of Tanzania.
Okay.
A long road cannot lack corners.
A long road cannot lack corners.
Mm-hmm.
Okoh.
I think it is a good one, being that we are talking of matters health and talking of a new profession in this country, optometrist. So there are challenges that we have met across the road, and I believe the proverb interlink well with our journey.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
You people like cutting corners?
No, not really cutting corners. No, but...
What do you like cutting? Different corners.
No, okay.
It's on a light note.
Yeah.
Who's an optometrist?
Optometrists are primary healthcare workers who are trained, regulated, and autonomous. Our functionality ranges from primary to secondary to tertiary level, depending on your level of training.
Okay.
Basically, what we do is arrange from comprehensive eye examination to dispensing of glasses, contact lenses. We do therapeutic and pharmacological. We use pharmacological agents to manage eye diseases. But our work is limited. We don't do surgeries, and even the kind of drops we prescribe are also limited.
Okay.
Yes.
Who does the other ones?
The other one is we have an ophthalmologist at the other end of the apex.
Okay.
Yes.
So an ophthalmologist is that higher skill.
Yeah.
An optometrist, like you say, is the primary provider of
the
eye health
services.
Where do I find an optometrist?
Most of optometries, according to our Kenyan version, is most of us are in private practice and a few are in public practice. And being that we are basically normally at a primary level, you can find us across primary, secondary level, depending on your setup.
Okay.
But most of us are in private sector and a few practicing in public hospitals.
Okay.
Yeah.
And who's an optician?
That's a good one. Okay, we normally have the 3 O's in eye health. We have an ophthalmologist, an optometrist, and an optician. I can't talk on behalf of them, but basically what I know is they do a bit of dispensing of glasses and contact lenses, and they don't interact with patients so much according to the competency-based levels.
Okay.
The framework, yeah.
So they will deal mostly with dispensing of the eyeglasses
and contact lenses. They have to get a prescription from either an ophthalmologist, an optometrist, or a trained ophthalmic clinical officer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sawa. Now, we have had very many conversations on this show about eye health.
Yeah.
And we many times talk about avoidable blindness.
Yeah.
Many cases we talk about, ways in which people become blind and it could have been avoided. So let's just start with what you have seen and what you've dealt with. What are the main causes of blindness in this country? And which of those are, let's say, avoidable?
According to me being in the field for quite some time, and according to our global perception of what is happening in eye health, we were picking 2 common causes of avoidable blindness. The number one is cataract. What is cataract? Cataract is the inside the eye we have a lens. Like now we are putting on a lens. So inside also there is a lens. That lens helps us to see better. So sometimes this lens get crowded due either to age, trauma, or other causes. That is number one. The other one is the refractive errors. Refractive errors, and I'm very happy that we have live patients because all of you are putting on glasses.
What did you just call us?
He called you a live patient.
As opposed
Short
to,
of calling you a live specimen.
as opposed to calling us a dead one.
Yeah, so
okay.
The other burden that you have is on refractive.
Well, the live specimens allow you to continue speaking, so please go on. Yes.
Okay, fine.
You have the refractive errors.
We have the number one. I was talking of cataracts.
The cataracts.
Then we are handling refractive errors where we have the short-sightedness and in someone being unable to see far. We have long-sightedness, and there is astigmatism and presbyopia. Presbyopia is common at all age, whereby you find reading small prints becomes so difficult.
Only at old age?
It is common at all age,
okay.
Not unless the intraocular lens is removed. That is when you find it in other ages.
Okay.
Yeah.
So those are the most common ones.
The most common ones. Other than well, we can continue mentioning a few. Okay. We have the one common with people with diabetes or hypertension.
Yeah.
We call them retinopathies. Diabetic retinopathy, hypertensive retinopathy. We have the other one, macular degeneration. Inside the eyes, there is a part of your eye that is meant for having that sharp vision, giving sharp vision, the macula. So due to age, the macula sometimes get degenerated. Yeah. And also glaucoma, the silent thief of the eye. Glaucoma, the risk factor of glaucoma is eye pressure. Those are the 5 most common causes of blindness in
Can we look at this eye pressure a little bit?
Yeah.
What causes eye pressure, and how will you know that you have an issue with eye pressure? Because glaucoma, again, very big, lots of loss of sight as a result of glaucoma. Eye pressures, how can you tell if there's an issue with eye pressure? Because then again, like you say, silent thief of the eye. But then how do you know if there's a problem with pressures?
Actually, there are a number of tests that an individual is normally taken across from the start point. I'm very glad that you guys at one point you have met an optometrist or an ophthalmologist. First of all, at entry point, we start the visual acuity chart, that one that you normally read. Then for us, if we suspect that you can be a glaucoma patient, we do an IOP, intraocular pressure measurement. There is a machine that we use to measure we normally measure the body pressure. There is also a machine that measures the IOPs.
Okay, so
the eye pressure.
What would make you think that this individual could have glaucoma for you to then institute this test? What do you see? What could you...
Good. I get the point very well. So since, there is how glaucoma eats your eyes. You start losing your vision from the periphery. Your tunnel vision will remain, but when I look at CT, when I'm looking at Eric, I will be unable to see CT. So you start realizing that you are losing your peripheral vision. So you start getting cautious. I need to see a doctor. We get, even before that, you'll also get a history from the patient. He'll tell you that, Victor, I'm unable to this and this and this. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And when does that usually occur in terms of chronology, lifespan?
It is common at a later phase of human life. We normally say anybody around 35 and above years should keep on checking their pressures anytime you visit an eye hospital. Yeah.
Okay. Now, one of the big things when we talk about loss of sight or pressure on sight is screen time, and it's becoming a lot more common in this day and age, on the phone, on the tab or whatever, especially for children. Does this contribute to loss of sight? Truly, I mean, we can say what we want, but does it truly? Is there a connection between loss of sight and the amount of hours that you spend ogling at this thing with bright lights?
Yeah, that's a good one. And being that we are in an evolving world in terms of e-medias, the desktop, the phones. So at an early stage, we normally say that human eye develop from an age 0 to age 8. So you find nowadays most of the time, utaachia mtoto simu, and you feel quite peaceful. That one has got an impact because human body also works according to how you train it. If today I start going to the gym, I'll become big. if most of the time I'm on the screen, if most of the time on the screen, my eyes will get used to near things, you see.
Voila, okay, I see what you mean.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to.
So essentially what you're doing is, if you're doing that for children, because that has been the habit, isn't it? You give the thing and the child keeps quiet, doesn't bother you to do whatever you need to do. You're saying what you're doing is that you're training the eye to only see things that are very near and bright.
Yeah.
So then the eye would not be able to then adjust later on to see further things and to see things that are duller in terms of light.
Yeah, true.
Okay.
And the other thing, just to expand to what you are saying, to the working group. Like now we are on our desktops. The desktop normally produces a blue light, and this blue light is very harmful to human eye because there is an hormone it kills. You find people who spend a lot of time on the screen, they have long-term and short-term effect. Some of them being there is eye strain, you feel that dull headache after screen time, your eyes become teary, you have neck pain, back pain because of improper ergonomics and etc. So we are trying to advocate that as much as we are speaking to the working population, we should also see on how we can make sure that our working environment is so conducive and good for our eye health. And the things we are trying to do, we are trying to encourage the general public that if you are spending more than 3 to 4 hours on the screen, make sure that annually you do an eye test. You make sure you reduce the contrast to what you are comfortable with. The contrast should be next to the natural, the light you're having on top of you. And again, there is what is known as 20-20 rule. After I saw you taking a break. After
every 20 minutes.
After every 20 minutes, you try and look at something 20 feet. 20 feet is like your 6 steps for 20 seconds. That one will relax your eye muscles.
Say that again.
After every 20 minutes on the screen,
look up.
You look at something.
Look at this one.
20 feet.
Okay.
For 20 seconds. 20 feet. Yeah, that one relaxes your...
Away for 20 seconds.
Yeah,
okay.
It relaxes your muscle and also washes your eye so that it doesn't become dry. Yeah.
Tunapima aje 20 feet. Utaona aje 20 feet.
You are 6 steps.
Only 6 steps, brother.
Okay. All right. Is there a way to prevent loss of sight that may have already started?
Yeah, there are ways of preventing a number of these. We are talking of a series of eye problems. It's not specifically one. We are talking of refractive errors. We are talking of cataract. We have the glaucoma. So there are interventions in terms of surgery, in terms of a pair of spectacle, in terms of contact lenses. Yeah, but most of them, like what Ndo is saying, most of them, like for say diabetic retinopathy, once it starts, the only thing, we cannot reverse it. We can just try to manage it.
And managing it is slowing it down?
You don't slow it down. Either we leave it where we found it, but we make sure it doesn't get worse.
I see.
Yeah.
That thing of spending time on screen, I mean, this has become normal for very many people. If you're not spending time looking at your laptop or your computer, you're looking at your TV. If you're not looking at your TV, you're looking at your phone. And this is just a cycle. Are you saying that over time, in the last couple of years, as optometrists, you've actually noticed more and more people visiting you with various such issues? And should this be a policy issue that talks about how to create that awareness on how to maybe reduce the time spent in front of a screen? If somebody works in an office and the workstation is a computer, should there be a regulation that says if somebody works in an office and this is a workstation, there should be regular breaks, and these are the regular breaks that someone should take legally?
Yeah.
So when someone stands up, the boss is not saying, you spent too much time going to talk to Ndu. You're fired.
Meanwhile, you say, I'm taking my 2020.
Yeah. I'm using Ndu as...
Yeah, I totally agree. These are things that... that's why we are making noise this year. Because we have found that... the rate at which people are losing their sight is quite alarming. Because if you look at the data from International Agency for Prevention of Blindness, we are finding that there is a whooping 2.2 billion people with vision impairment, and much of it are work related.
Okay, but okay. So I think maybe it's necessary to take a couple steps back, because we talk about loss of sight, and if we say loss of sight, then we equate it automatically to blindness.
Yeah.
But essentially we're saying that loss of sight means that the reduced capacity to be able to see properly, is it not? Or when we say, now that's over time, because I have lost sight, but I am not blind, right?
You are visually impaired.
I'm visually impaired, but I'm not blind. So does loss of sight equal blindness?
No. Those are two different terms.
Could you explain that, please?
Yeah, visual impairment is like now, you have put on a pair of glasses. What you have tried to do is that pair of glasses is helping you to perform a task.
Yes.
So, according to my perception and according to how I understand visual impairment, is any eye condition that will need you to modify or seek for a device to help you to perform that task. That is visual impairment. Then when you talk of vision loss, it is a loss. It is lost.
Okay, it is lost completely. You don't lose it. Okay, I get what you mean. Okay.
So, but also we have low vision. Low vision is whereby at least there is that part of functional vision that is left for you.
So you can see images.
You can see images, or you can tell us what you want. If, for say, you have seen those people using telescope, you find they cannot benefit from the normal ways of correcting the problems, like using glasses, the surgery part of it. Yeah, that is now low
telescope. Vision. Telescope is not the one for looking into space?
The one for seeing the moon.
Yeah, we have that. We also use that one for people with low vision to help them see at a distance.
Okay, you use the same mechanism as in what is in a telescope.
True,
okay,
true.
Understood.
Yeah.
What are you thinking?
I don't know. I think people walking around with walking around with a telescope in your backpack. I don't know.
Oh, glasses as thick as a telescope. Yes, City.
There is a question that has been asked. There's a condition. I'm going to spell it because I can't pronounce it. Pterygium.
Pterygium.
It's called pterygium. Yes. The P is silent.
Yeah.
That's what I was struggling with. Okay. Yeah. What is it, and can it cause loss of sight?
Pterygium is an okay. We have this part of the eyes, different part of the eyes. So there is this part of your eye, the white part, the conjunctiva. So sometimes they normally a growth that comes on it that looks like a wedge-like. So that growth keeps growing towards the dark part of your eye. So basically, when it covers the dark part, it means the window is closed. So it can lead to vision loss. But there is surgical intervention whereby it can be scooped before reaching the dark part.
I see.
What causes it?
It is common to people who spend a lot of time outside where there is UV light. That's what the book speaks about.
Spending time outside.
It is common even, you see, like the lake region, the prevalence is common in the lake region because of the UV light. UV light is the light from the sun.
So everybody in this country spends time outside.
I'm outside.
What is specific about the sun and the UV light that you find in the lake? Or are you saying places like Mount Kenya don't have UV light?
It is because of the reflection from the white surface from the waters. Good.
Reflection.
Yeah. So
if I live near a water body, say like in Naivasha, am I likely to have a
more susceptible?
Yeah, you are at risk of having pterygium.
Okay. So when you can notice it, do you feel it?
Yeah, you can.
Or do you just see it?
For you ladies, you can always see it because you are very sensitive with your eyes. When you are doing your makeups, you can see it.
Oh, you're always looking.
Yeah, but also there is that gritty sensation. You'll feel
That's
like-
what I was asking.
Yeah,
Do you
you
feel
feel
something when you blink all the time? Something is in your eye.
Yeah, there is something in my eye.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, at what stage then would you say it's still? So once you feel that, if you feel that, and it's obviously it's not you need to wash your eye out. It's something it's there. At that point, can you go? In this case, it would be an ophthalmologist who would then be able to scoop it off. What? Once you do that, is that permanent in terms of treatment, or is there possibility of it coming back?
Oh, nice one. Initially, before we develop in terms of technology, we used to remove pterygium. Then you find there was a chances of reoccurrence. But nowadays there is a surgery that is done. Then they put a collagen fiber so that it doesn't reoccur. Other than that, also we also make sure that maybe we tell you to always put on sunglasses to block the UV light, because the fertilizer to pterygium is the light. So when you block the light from reaching the eye, but you can't block all the light, only there is an amount that you can block, because if you block all the light, it means you won't be able to see.
Over goggles.
Yeah.
Which one?
Over goggles.
You know what?
Sunglasses.
Okay.
What I'm wondering about is this growth that we speak of, pterygium. What exactly then does happen? This growth, what is it? What causes it? And why does it move towards...
What is this mass that's growing?
Yes, exactly.
Is it an enlargement of veins?
Is it a blood vessel which is
blood
ruptured?
vessels?
If you do your research very well, you will find they are not speaking of that very much. What is there is that the UV light is a fertilizer to that growth. So what normally happens is once the light hits your eyes, it will hit on your nostril side. It is common on the nostril side. The growth is common on this side. So there is a reflection towards that side.
Is there any other source of UV light except the sun?
We have sources of UV. You have UVA, UVB, UVBC. The radiations are there.
Does the computer have UV?
It produces blue light. I don't know which. I'm not specific to which UV it produces, but I know
UV is blue in color.
Yeah, there are radiation.
So there's a likelihood.
Yeah, there are radiation.
So there is a remote likelihood that if I sit and stare behind a computer for a very long time, I may also be at some sort of risk.
Yeah, at some point, even though I can't speak to it because I've not read it anywhere as far as that one is concerned.
You know why I ask? Because I have been in places where you spend a lot of time working in your computer, so they have this screen that is actually placed in front of the normal screen that the computer comes with, and it is advertised as being a protective device to prevent certain harmful
rays
UV protector
from your eyes. Yeah, I think the reason why they are introducing the anti-glare screen to protect the UVs and the blue light is because the blue light itself is very, very harmful to human eye. It can even lead to blindness if you spend a long time on the screen for a very long duration, like for 10 years and above. That's why I think they are trying to bring this intervention of whereby they put anti-glare screen on top of the computers.
Let's take a break. It's 28 minutes to 10. Yesterday, the 12th day of October 2023 was World Sight Day. And we are marking that today with the president of the Optometrists Association of Kenya, Okoh Victor. He's here to talk about eliminating avoidable blindness. What are those? There are many questions that I'm seeing on social media. If you've got a question for him, please post it on the comment section of YouTube or the comment section of Facebook. Or you can also tag it at Situation Room, at the Situation Room on Twitter. We'll pose the question to Okoh. Time for that break for Ndu to go and powder her nose and look at the eye and see whether UV and all those things have affected your eye since you last checked.
All right.
Which was at what, 25 minutes ago?
Stop it.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.
Jumbo, here's how to make payments to the Kenya Wildlife Service on the eCitizen platform. Log on to kws.ecitizen.go.ke or scan the QR code provided. Sign in with your ID number or email and the date that you plan to visit the facility. Select the service required. Choose the park, reserve or sanctuary that you wish to visit. View all service instructions indicated. Then confirm. You can pay for the services using M-Pesa, Airtel Money or a credit or debit card. Review your details before pressing the pay button. You will receive a confirmation message and a downloadable e-ticket. Prepay your ticket for quick and seamless entry into parks. Easy Safari with KWS.
Okay, cloud, sunny conditions in Nairobi at 20, highs of 28 and lows of 15 today. It's sunny at 20 in Nakuru at 20 and 21 and sunny in Nyeri going to highs of 26. It's 19 and sunny in Eldoret with highs of 26 and lows of 14 and mostly sunny at 28 in Mombasa with highs of 31. We'll see highs of 31 as well in a sunny Malindi at 29. At 27, it's sunny in Kisumu with highs of 30 and it'll go to highs of 29 in a sunny Kakamega at 24. 23 and sunny in Kampala with highs of 28 and lows of 18 and Dar es Salaam is sunny at 28 going to highs of 30. 18 in Johannesburg with highs of 27 and Lagos is cloudy with a chance of rain, highs of 31 as well, mostly cloudy in Kinshasa. It's 23 and sunny in Beijing into Friday afternoon, 18 and cloudy in Paris and cloudy and windy in London at 19. 13 and clear still actually Thursday night in New York coming into Friday, highs of 18 and lows of 11.
Mature, intelligent talk every morning. Done right. 94.4 Spice FM, Nairobi.
All right, getting out of traffic hour right about now, and I think it's going to be moving smoothly through the city for the rest of the morning. Outbound traffic, whether we're looking east or west, might be a thing, so we're going to keep an eye on that through the morning. Let us know what might be popping off as you go through the day on Spice FM KE on X.
Mature, intelligent talk every morning. Spice up yourself. Mornings done right. 94.4 Spice FM, Nairobi.
President of the Optometrists Association of Kenya, Pio Victor. Questions on social media. So this one comes in. I get eye irritation most of the time. I spend a lot of time on my laptop. Should I visit an optometrist?
Yeah. That one is a good question, and I think he has the answer. He needs to see us an eye specialist so that we can do an eye test so that we know what is causing this. It could be dry eye, because if he normally spends a lot of time on the screen, it means when we spend a lot of time on the screen, we rarely blink. So when you rarely blink, it means the surface is not smooth.
Why? Is that natural?
You are forcing yourself to blink now.
No, I'm not.
So when you're looking at the laptop, you actually may go...
Most of the time when you are doing near work, the blink rate goes down.
Oh, really?
Okay. Yeah. So we are not washing the eyes properly. So that could be the reason why he's getting the eye irritation. It's like a moving part. The oil is now not there. Yeah. So a visit to an optometrist
is important. So what will you do?
We do a lot of examination before concluding that this person has got this and this and this issue. But already the person is already on glasses. So this one means it is something different other than the blue light. It could be. I'm suspecting it could be a dry eye. That is very common to people who spend a lot of time on the screens.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Can I not just do blinking exercises?
We recommend. If you can remember, we normally say if you can remember, try and blink. Yes.
Think, blink. Do it.
Can winking also help?
What winking is like?
Somebody might take a wrong message from you.
Keep winking.
But this is strange because is it not supposed to be an involuntary response to irritation or an involuntary response to anything extra light? You just naturally would blink.
It comes, the reason why you can correlate it is because human eye is very different. When you are looking at a distance, it is relaxed. When you are doing near work, it is when you are using a lot of energy.
It's strained.
It's strained.
Okay.
Yeah, so you find that involuntary service is not coming out as it should be.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Somebody was asking about allergies, eye allergies. So many times you'll hear, oh, I've got an allergy. It's an allergy that's causing me to tear. It's an allergy that's causing me to feel irritable. What eye allergies are there?
We have different types of ocular allergies, and allergies are caused by an allergen. An allergen can be dust, can be perfume, can be pollen grain.
Cold?
Yeah, even cold. You find that most of the time when people are harvesting maize, your eyes are becoming sore. So we have this different kind of allergies. We have the seasonal, there is perennial, that is always there. We have allergic conjunctivitis, the one you are speaking about, that is triggered by something. Yeah.
How do you treat them?
Basically, when it comes to treatment of allergy, we do eye drops. We have the antihistamines and the mast cell stabilizers. Sometimes it depends with the doctor. Sometimes after giving you the mast cell stabilizer or antihistamines, we'll also give you a soother, like something like Atia Natural, something that helps when it comes to dry eyes, because we find most of the people with allergic conjunctivitis.
Tia Natural is natural tears.
Natural tears. That's
harvested from.
Pardon?
Harvested from.
Isn't it just saline?
What is natural tears? What is it?
It is an eye drop. It is an eye drop.
It's like saline.
It is like a lubricant.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
What we're actually seeking to find out is its composition.
Whose tears are we talking about? Yes, because they must be natural.
Or are these the things they get from rabbits?
Yeah.
It is a pharmacological agent that substitutes the natural tear that you normally have in case there is deficiency. Yes. So you find most of people with allergy, they also tend to have dryness because of the rubbing of the eyes. The eyes are so much exposed most of the time to the atmosphere. Yeah.
Would you discourage regular use of eye drops? Sometimes just people who just know, okay, red eyes, I'm feeling irritable. I think this is an allergy.
I've been outside for too long.
It is always good when it comes to medicine. The art of medicine is always good that you seek an advice from a professional. So there are some other eye drops that if used for a very long time, they can lead to something different from what we are managing. And basically when it comes to the eyes, we can speak of steroids that we used to manage inflammation. A long-term usage of steroid can also lead to blindness, can increase the pressure in your eyes, and the pressure in your eyes can damage your optic nerve. Optic nerve is what connects your eyes to the brain. Yeah.
Okay.
You know what I find interesting when you talk about the eye? There are so many things that could actually go wrong. You actually have no idea.
Yeah, true.
Now, there is now the preventative aspect of this discussion. Does your association have partners with whom they work? Because some of the problems that we may think about as manifesting in adults could be things that actually began
at an early stage.
Yes, exactly. And maybe if picked up at that particular point,
something could have been done.
Yes, the problem that later then bedevils someone's life could have been completely been averted. Yes.
Yeah, we have a number of partners we work with. Very many in eye health. You want me to mention a few? Okay. We work with the likes of International Agency for Prevention of Blindness. We have the Fred Hollows Foundation. We have One Sight. We have Vision Spring. We also correlate with other associations, because you remember in health we also have other societies. And these other societies also have got some big players because they have been in the field for quite some time. So it is not a one-man journey.
Sure.
A one-man show. Yeah.
So if it's a refractory issue,
refractive error issue,
sure, can you then let me ask it this way: would it lead to loss of sight refractive error issues, do they lead to loss of sight?
Thank you. And I just want to throw it back to you. When did you last do your eye test?
On the 20th of November 2022.
2022. You remember the date?
Yes, I do, because
You're
I've had
that
an
good.
eye issue for all my life, so it's
For quite
very,
some
very
time.
detailed for
yeah,
me.
I see you are a bit short-sighted. So
Not a bit.
High.
Yes.
Or moderate.
High.
Above -5?
Yes.
Okay, good. So we normally say that there are people who are at risk of developing complications due to refractive errors. More so if you are wearing from -6 and above. So there are complications. Number one, inside the eye we have a layer. If you did biology, there's a layer called retina. So people who are short-sighted are likely to develop retinal detachment, whereby the retina itself detached from the wall. And retina is what receives the information and correlate it to the brain, so that you are able to perceive color and darkness. Yes. So there are chances that when you are short-sighted, you are a risk factor to other complications. Retinal detachment, cataract, that's the clouding of the lens. Increase in eye pressure is also common to people who are short-sighted. And there are others. Yeah, so we normally say that if you are short-sighted, you make sure that annually you visit an optometrist or any other eye specialist, so that what City was saying, if there is something developing, we can at least see it.
Deal with it immediately.
Immediately.
Somebody went for an eye test in 2007. How many years are those? 16. And it turned out that they were short-sighted and they were supposed to get glasses.
Pair of glasses.
But they have not gotten glasses. Is there any danger?
Yeah, there is a very big danger, and I was using a sample of human body. You know, human body works according to how you train it. So at the back of the eye we have the retina. So when you are short-sighted, it means rays of light are not reaching at the back of the retina. You were born with a long eyeball. So the rays of light are converging before reaching the retina. So you see the retina is not activated. So it can stay inactive, and that can lead to blindness. Yeah.
So what does eye assistance do for that? What does vision assistance in the form of contact lenses or glasses do to manage that situation?
What glasses are doing when we talk of a bit of physics, because we talk of biology, physics, and mathematics, we put the concave and convex lenses. They elongate the rays of light to make sure that these rays of light
they hit the retina.
They hit the retina.
So does the retina then become active?
Yeah. The retina will be activated.
When the light now hits the retina, it becomes active.
It now is able to.
It is like a switch.
Because the issue is you have a long what?
Eyeball.
Elongated eyeball. When your eyeball is there.
Yeah. Okay, so then what happens? And so I think this is the thing, because you go for an eye test, or you feel that your vision, you're losing your vision, and I've heard so many people say this. Oh well, I don't think I need glasses, or I've been given a pair of glasses, and then I chuck them somewhere under the bed, because it's not sexy to wear glasses. I mean, come on, guys. Look, but the question is, do you do yourself a disservice? Do you damage the situation even more by not wearing them? Because that's very important, I think, what you've said, because you have an inactive retina, but with the glasses or the contact lenses, you activate the work of the retina to then be able to do what it was naturally supposed to do. So it's beyond, it's a bit heavy on my face or whatever. It's actually switching on a natural process to then do what it was supposed to do.
I agree with you totally.
Okay.
What I think is we also, as professionals, communication is treatment.
Yes.
So when you're giving a pair of glasses, it is quite thick, and we also assess. You can see someone's attitude towards a product. When you come to me, I'll say, I'm giving City these glasses, but he's not going to use them. So we need to have good communication etiquettes and
tell them
why and the importance, and if not, what will happen.
Okay.
Yeah.
After how long should a pair of glasses be changed? Because you've given this person these very thick bottles to wear on their eyes. Right? So after how long should they go and get new lenses?
I think I saw you with the jeans today. Okay, good. So
Ngoja tuone hii mahali na sioni uhusiano wa
Please carry on.
so I normally use a pair of jeans.
Okay.
With time it will wear out.
Yes.
Takes quite a bit of time though.
Yeah. But it will be a jeans.
Yes.
So with glasses, the prescription, if you are using for say -1, that -1 will remain the way it is. But with time, glasses get scratches. There is treatment, there is anti-glare in it, there is those other things that help block rays of light. So those treatments with time, they fade.
Okay.
So we normally recommend that after 1 to 2 years, you need to change your glasses. But annually, at least if you're an adult who doesn't have other complication, you should see an eye specialist. Yes. But
visit an eye specialist every year.
Every year, but the glasses you can renew after every 2 years. Your lenses.
Okay.
Yes.
Does NHIF cover some of these things that we're talking about?
Actually, I saw it, and I was wondering, you are reading from the other end?
Yes.
Your vision seems to be good. Good. Congratulations.
Ask him to remove his glasses.
Mimi huona mbali. Mimi moi same was that.
And you eat meat.
Yes.
Good one, good. So remind me of the question.
NHIF.
This is a conversation we are trying to have. Because you realize we have NHIF, we have the comprehensive NHIF that is most common with people who are in civil service and in county government. That one covers for a pair of glasses and covers for the surgical part of it. But you find this common NHIF yenye tunajilipia 500 doesn't have a cover for spectacles. And it is what majority of people have. So we are trying to have a conversation with the government that there is a return if you invest on a pair of glasses.
On primary eye care.
Primary eye care, yeah.
Right.
So that is a conversation we have kickstarted with NHIF to make sure that at least there is a package for the people on the lower end of this pyramid who are many and who need these services.
Yeah. Will I get an optometrist at a level 2 hospital, health facility in this country? Because you said most of you are in private practice.
Your eyes are normally done in private? You yourself?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So there is a problem in this country that I think we need to sort when it comes to eye health. When you do a quick walk across these county hospitals, you'll find an examination room called an eye unit with no instruments and no professionals.
No human, no
resources.
and no instrument.
And no instrument.
It's just a room.
It is just a room.
Yeah, it's for the eyes.
For the eyes.
Yeah, macho.
Yeah, macho.
So to be seen.
You're supposed to look at it and see it.
Come and look.
Okay, here we are. Yes.
Yeah, so it is a big challenge to us in terms of human resources. And you know, we are also very few. Like in this country, we are only around 580 optometrists.
No, wait a minute. 580
optometrists trained from KMTC and Masinde Muliro.
What?
And around 120 to 160 ophthalmologists, serving a population of 54 million.
How many clinical, is that call them clinical?
Ophthalmic clinical officers, they are quite in number.
Okay.
Yeah. So you see that gap.
Yeah.
We need to see how we bridge that gap. We need to see how we equip. And the other thing is what is affecting us mostly as optometrists. The reason why we are not at level 2 is because for you to enter into a public system, there are policy documents that you need to have. The scope of practice, the career guideline. Career guideline determines your promotion, your advertisement, your remuneration and etc. And you need to be a licensed professional. So you see, we have the scope of practice with us.
Okay.
We are being licensed by Kenya Health Professional Oversight Authority.
Okay.
And there is a document of ours lying at Public Service Commission, the career guideline. We started making these documents in 2011 in Manzoni. Until to date, it has not been approved.
Okay.
And we are speaking of a few counties having optometrists. You'll find this in these counties. For say Wajir, we have Bomet, we have Marakwet, we have Moranga next to us here. These people have been employed into the system using a different career guidelines or the draft one.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think...
So there's nothing that's basically managing their progression within their employment.
Within their employment. So you find even promoting them becomes so difficult. Yeah. So these are conversations that we are trying to have with the Ministry of Government, Ministry of Health, and this one I just wanted to call it out. Public Service Commission should approve that document. All tell us where we
at least have some engagement with a view to progressing it to the next stage.
To the next stage,
Because that's what should happen.
Yeah.
Is it an attitude issue? Now, I'm asking you as the president of the association, what do you see as a problem? Is it an attitude problem? Is it a lack of understanding, a lack of awareness? Where is the crack in this system? Why do we have so few trained optometrists? Why do we have no optometrist guidelines on how we hire, retain, and promote them in our public service? Why do we only see mostly eye care being privatized?
One of the things I think is we started embracing this idea at quite at a later stage. Because if you look at a country like Nigeria, US, Nigeria have over 200,000 optometrists. As we started training optometry in 2011 there. So, and ophthalmology uptake has been there from University of Nairobi.
Yeah.
So what is bringing all these is I think we started quite late. The number is growing. So on our part, we need to play a very big role. In terms of
the association's part?
The association part we are doing very well, because whatever we are doing is creating awareness, advocates, and etc. But also we need to increase intake of more optometrists, of more ophthalmologists, of more ophthalmic clinical officers, so that we can equate it to the population.
It's a big thing, because this is it's a policy issue and a program issue. And you started this conversation by saying it's important. Optometry is a primary health service. It's at that level where it's a primary health issue. So we need to be seeing actually optometrists across the country, not in level 5s at counties, but in local health facilities at sub-county level. So that means we need very many more of you.
Yeah, true.
Across the country. And we also need to have eye care being done, not people thinking of going to Lions, going to Kikuyu, or going to the private centers, but going to public health facilities and seeing that. Have you participated at all in any of the conversations as we gear up towards unveiling the universal health coverage next week on Friday?
Yeah, we play a very big role, and I'm very glad that the Division of Ophthalmic Services have been trying to engage us. Because if you look at our numbers, it also means that we're also forming the bigger part of the professions in eye health. So we are having these conversations. We are influencing our policy documents. We are doing something. Yeah. The only problem is in this setup, in our normal African setups, there is a lot of bureaucracies and
bureaucracies everywhere.
But ours is special.
No, ours isn't bureaucracy. It's
stumbling block.
Stumbling block and sabotage. It's not. Yes, not bureaucracy. Bureaucracy is the excuse that people use. Yes, but they're just individuals who have determined to be obtuse. So you.
They nowadays call it positive bureaucracy.
Final question, I think, before we just leave, and this is coming out. We've talked about the rise of non-communicable diseases and lifestyle diseases, diabetes being one of them. This question, is the rise of diabetes also contributing to the rise of eye problems in Kenya?
Yeah, it is a burden. It is a very big burden, because even if you look at the recent research that was done, it is a burden that we are spending a lot on it in terms of intervention. So what you need to do at the lower level is to make sure that we advocate for people to have a healthier lifestyle, to curb the issue of diabetic retinopathy, and also making sure that you meet a profession. You make the doctor your friend at an early stage, because you find if your sugar is well managed, at the end it cannot reach a point whereby you are losing your sight. So early intervention is also quite important.
Okay. For children, And I guess a very last one. How often should they have an eye test to make sure that pressures are, taken care of to avoid some of these things that we see later?
There are guidelines that see us through when it comes to kids. I can't just remember the specific, but I know that before somebody goes for a preschool, you have to do an eye test to make sure that this kid is good, if he needs an intervention. Because, if he or she has got a refractive error, it means at the end of it,
school will be affected.
Yeah. He'll depend on someone next to. Whether CT is writing something wrong, I also write it wrong. So at the end, the result won't be what we thought of. But we normally say that we can start an eye test at a preschool, then you follow up at 1-2 years in that manner. But there are standard guidelines.
Yeah.
There are.
Opio, thank you very much for joining us today, and good work you're doing. Opio Victor is the president of the Optometrists Association of Kenya. He's been here with us talking about how we can do to eliminate avoidable blindness in commemoration of yesterday's World Sight Day. And we now come to the conclusion of the show for this week. Someone said that we should sing as we say goodbye.
You should sing Nasikia something
Nasikia Sauti. Okay, let's go. Opio, you know that song?
Yeah.
Let's go. Nasikia sauti, nasikia sauti, sauti ya mama, sauti ya mama. Sasa ni saa 4. Sasa ni saa 4. Kwaheri mwalimu.
Kwaherini.
Bye bye.